This is why I love horse racing. We could sit here for days talking about favorites this or favorites that. We could back up our opinions with cold hard facts, and we could still get it all very, very wrong. It's what happened today at Keeneland at the Bluegrass Stakes. McCracken, the 7-5 morning line favorite. He was the early favorite for the Kentucky Derby. He is not any longer. McCracken started out slow, was running in fifth going into the final turn, made his move, jumped to third. That's as close as he would get. Down the stretch, IRAP, 31-1 long shot. He's able to hold off a late charge from Practical Joke. IRAP, the first maiden to win the Bluegrass Stakes. He is headed to the Kentucky Derby. Meanwhile, at the Wood Memorial, another horse headed to Churchill Downs for the Kentucky Derby. Irish War Cry, proving the doubters wrong after a bad finish in his previous start.
Irish War Cry's in front because they come to the final 16th. Battalion runners not going with him. Then comes Cloud Computing down to the line. Irish War Cry has won the Wood Memorial under Rajiv Mirage.
Moral of the story, don't count out Irish War Cry or a horse that simply may have had a bad day. Finally, the third big Kentucky Derby prep race today, we go out west. The Santa Anita Derby, real good finish. Gormley, ridden by Victor Espinosa, coming on late for a victory by a half length. Gormley headed to the Kentucky Derby. He jumps to second in the standings with the win. Meanwhile, Bob Baffert after today looking like he will not have a horse in the field. We switch now to football. U of L head coach Bobby Petrino said he liked what he saw in today's final scrimmage before next Saturday's spring game. Once more, we'll have to take his word since, again, no cameras were allowed. Petrino still working with Heisman Trophy winner Lamar Jackson on his game. Jackson rushed for nearly 1,600 yards last season. Petrino, though, trying to impress on the junior quarterback that it's okay not to run every time the receivers are covered.
We're still working on him throwing the ball away. You know, he's still, you know, thinks he can run and make every single play. So we're still working on that. And it's hard, too, when they're not tackling him to, you know, to really know if he would have threw it away or ran for a touchdown, you know, because there was a couple times today he took off and ran real well. So we're still trying to progress on that.
He's making progress. Meanwhile, unlike Louisville's scrimmage, Kentucky's scrimmage today was in fact open. And what do you know? Actual pictures. Yes, the Wildcats doing the unthinkable, at least in Petrino's eyes, and pulling back the curtain for their final scrimmage before Friday's spring game. Perhaps it was a mistake. The offense apparently did not show up for the final part of practice. In fact, offensive coordinator Eddie Gran called it an absolute joke.
They practiced for an hour and a half unbelievably. They competed, they got after them for 1 hour and 30 minutes, but the last 20, they decided not to compete and they got their tail whipped. I think they're drinking some Kool-Aid and it's bad Kool-Aid, and I got to get them to quit drinking it.
Kentucky looking to get better. Meanwhile, the second-ranked Louisville baseball team looking for revenge. Yesterday, in the opener of a three-game series, 17th-ranked Wake Forest handed them only their second home loss of the year. Dan McDonnell wanting his team to be more aggressive at the plate after last night's 2-1 loss to the Demon Deacons. First inning, Brendan McKay getting aggressive. Slices this into left field, and it will fall. Colby Finch scores. Logan Taylor, he too is going to score. It is 2-0 Louisville. Wake Forest, though, would respond. A two-out rally in the second. Bases loaded for Logan Harvey, and he unloads him. This is off the wall, and that will clear them. That made it 3-2 Demon Deacons. Now, the Cards would tie it in the fifth, though, with some small ball. Josh Stowers able to score here after the ground out. 3-all. U of L goes on to win by the final of 7-6. We got much more to come after the break. We turn our attention to golf, where Sergio Garcia is in position to do what he has never done before. Round 3 Masters highlights next. Sergio Garcia had the unfortunate luck of having his prime coincide with that of a guy named Tiger. It resulted in heartbreak and 0 majors. But now with Woods on the mend, Garcia is turning back the clock. At 4 under, the 37-year-old was tied for the lead going into round 3 of the Masters. Let's head back to Augusta, and there is Sergio. And look at him do his thing here on the 5th hole, going for his first birdie of the day, and he gets it. Garcia 4 birdies. He went 2 under. He's still in front for the lead, but a new guy joining him atop the leaderboard. It is Justin Rose, a great 5 under afternoon. He finished up with a birdie on 18. Rose at 6 under. Garcia at 6 under. Garcia says he's looking forward to chasing some demons.
Having a chance to win a tournament is always exciting. Having a chance of winning a major and winning here at Augusta, it's extra exciting. So you do have to calm yourself down, not get ahead of yourself, take some nice deep breaths, and then just try to cope with whatever comes your way the best way possible.
Easier said than done. Now, I know the feel-good story is Garcia, but he and Rose have company atop that leaderboard. Ricky Fowler only a shot back. 3 others, including Jordan Spieth, only 2 shots out. Not seen here, St. X grad Justin Thomas went 1 under today. He is tied for 28th. Back to baseball now. The Bats began their season Thursday, and I swear, I was just saying, though, it doesn't feel like the new year is truly here until we get an appearance from Jake the Diamond Dog. And lo and behold, there he is, everyone's favorite pup at Slugger Field, the Bat Pup, back to work for the Bats and Clippers. Columbus jumped out to an early lead, but Louisville answered in the 3rd. Dilson Herrera scoring in Juan Perez that cut the lead to 3 for Columbus. Next batter, Sebastian Elizalde, and he too does some damage, bringing in another run. Louisville would battle all the way back to tie it. Right now it is 8-8. They are in extra innings at Slugger Field. You want to keep it on my Twitter account. I'll be sure to update that and update their Jake the Diamond Dog. More baseball earlier this week. Bat fans thought they would see Bronson Arroyo pitch right here in Louisville after seeing his name on the preliminary roster. But alas, see, that was never the plan. Arroyo never came to town. Instead, he was on his way to Cincinnati, and he got his first start today in 3 years for the Reds, who visited St. Louis. The 40-year-old trying to shake off some rust. Aledmus Diaz says, how's that going? A solo homer to left. Cardinals off and running in the 1st. Meanwhile, Arroyo continued to struggle. 6 runs on 6 hits. Gave up 2 homers, both from Diaz. Made it only 4 innings. Cardinals fall 10-4. Rough day for Bronson in his return back to the mound. Finally, soccer. Louisville City back in action this afternoon. Unlike last game against Orlando, where they scored 3 times, goals were tough to come by today in Richmond, and that goes both ways. Tim Dobrovolsky, another solid job playing for the injured Greg Ranjitsing in goal. 19th minute. Look at the diving stop. It remained scoreless. It stayed that way through halftime. Then, 80th minute, Louisville caught off guard, and a break. Christopher Durkin, a handball in the box for Richmond, and that means a PK for Louisville. Look at the replay here. I gotta say, the guy did his best to turn, but that's the call they made. And you know what? Louisville will take it, and George Davis IV will take this. He scores on the PK, and that is the difference maker as Louisville wins 1-0. So you can make it 2 in a row now for the boys in purple. They're now 2-0-1 on this new season, so they stay undefeated. Louisville Bats and Cards back up tomorrow. We'll have those highlights. Plus, do not forget, we'll have the final round of the Masters. Sergio Garcia looking for his first ever major win. Can he do it? Come back here in sports to find out. We'll see you back here tomorrow night.